In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through setting up the Supabase RAG knowledge base vector store. Now, this is the best free solution for your N8N knowledge base, but it's a little bit tricky to get set up the first time. So get out your computer, set this up side by side with me. We're going to make this as simple as possible. Let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to set up the Supabase Vector Store. This is a free knowledge base that you can use. So the first thing you're going to do is go to supabase.com. and you're going to sign up for a new account. The first thing you're going to have to do is name your organization. I'm setting it up right now in real time for my PR firm. I'm going to go ahead and name type. We're going to do startup. We're going to do the free plan, create organization. Okay, next we want a database password. We're going to need this later so that we can access our Supabase database. So just make sure that you copy this and you remember this password. Then go ahead and set your region. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as East. So that took a few seconds, but now our project is live. Now you're going to see a lot of stuff here. I'm going to encourage you not to get distracted. We're going to come into project settings here, bottom left, and then we're going to do configuration database. Now you're going to see something at the top. Connection string has moved. And at the top, you're going to see that connection, a button that looks like a plug. You're going to go ahead and press that connect button. And now this is where you're going to get all of the helpful information to connect to your Supabase database. Before we continue, we're going to be setting up an additional tool here. So Supabase is kind of the software that houses all of the knowledge base items. But if I come to memory and I select Postgres, you'll see Supabase isn't here. Postgres is actually what powers and stores all of that memory in Supabase. So even though you're logged into Supabase, it's actually attached to Postgres. So we kind of need to set up both, but we can do it all from within Supabase. Not sure if that confuses you, but let's go back into Supabase and show you exactly what we need. Let's go ahead and hit that connect button again, and then I'm going to hit the type, and I'm just going to change that to PSQL. That's Postgres SQL. Now let's go ahead and make that credential for Postgres. Looks like it needs a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to have to pull from that Supabase account. So the first thing is the host. Let's come back into Supabase, and we're going to come into Transaction Pooler. And where it starts with AWS, we're just going to highlight all of that until the end of supabase.com. We're going to go ahead and copy just the AWS to supabase.com and put it in the host section here. Now the next thing that we need is the database and the user. So let's come back into Supabase and scroll to the right on this record. We're going to see D and we're going to see U. And that does correspond to database and user. So we're going to copy the database, which is Postgres, and the user, which is everything after that U. Now the last things we need here are this password and this port. So the password is what you just created on your Supabase account. It's the one that I just told you to save. You're going to go ahead and enter that password. And then for port, let's come back to Supabase. And you'll see a P here. That's the port that we're going to use. From that transaction pooler, we're going to copy that and paste that into the port. And then hopefully all that information is correct. We're going to go ahead and hit save. Credential tested successfully. That worked. Now I know that was kind of annoying, but now we're all set up for success. All right, so now let's test and make sure that we did this correctly and it's actually storing that data. I'm going to go ahead and remove the Supabase Vector Store for now. Now let's open the chat and give this a test. Hey there. So we're just going to message that agent, and as you can see, it's pinging the Postgres chat memory. We got a check mark. And if we come back into Supabase and actually go to this table editor, I can see the N8N chat histories here with the conversation that we just had. And now if you come into this message, you can actually see a lot of this meta text. So we've got human, hey there. And then we've got the AI content, hello, how can I assist you today? So now awesome, we've got Postgres chat memory set up. Now this is what I recommend using for chat memory. The reason for that is if you're using the simple memory, this actually just stores it inside of your server, and it can actually slow your server down. So I recommend using Postgres chat memory. It's got a lot of storage, a lot of context, and it's free. All right, so now that we have this set up successfully, let's go ahead and attach that Supabase Vector Store and create a new credential here. And we see that we're going to need a host and a service role secret. It's going to be a different host than we just used for Postgres. So let's go and actually get this data. All right, so let's come back to Supabase. We're going to go into project settings. Now we're going to click Data API, and this is the URL that you want to grab for connecting to Supabase. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, bring it back in, and paste that into the host. To grab your service role secret, come back into Supabase, and then you're going to come from Data API into API keys. I actually recently just moved this, so if you're watching old videos, this is where you find it. Under the legacy API keys, you'll see service role here. And then you can go ahead and hit reveal, and then copy that from Supabase, and then paste that service role secret here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and hopefully, awesome, connection tested successfully. Always make sure to guard your API keys. You don't want anybody taking advantage of those. All right, now that you're all connected, you actually need to set up the Supabase Vector Store inside of Supabase. So what you're going to want to do, just go ahead and click on this docs button, and this is going to bring you to the Supabase docs. By the way, if you're ever having trouble connecting something in N8N, they have a really good documentation that walks you through most things. So I want to go to this quick start for setting up your vector store. And it's going to take me to this really long and obscure code, and you're just going to copy that code. So make sure to grab that code, come back into your Supabase, and then all the way on the left, you'll come to SQL Editor. This is the only time I ever come in here. Paste that code and go ahead and hit run. And you're going to see that it's running, and you see success, no rows returned. That is confirmation that this worked correctly. And just to double confirm that it worked, let's come back to Table Editor, and you should see another table here called Documents. And this documents is going to be the table that is formatted for vector storage. In this embedding vector and metadata, this is configured so that you can now push data into the vector store and start using it. So now that we're all configured, let's actually add some information into this knowledge base. So there's a lot of ways to get information into your knowledge base. I'm just going to start with this one. You can just download a file from your Google Drive. I've actually already prepared kind of this file for download. I'm going to go ahead and hit share. I'm going to grab the link to this file and bring it back in to my N8N. Now what I want to do here is download file and make sure that you're already linked to Google Drive. I'm going to put the link to the file that I want to download. Make sure that Google Docs is converted to text. So you can hit add option. You'll find Google File Conversion, Google Docs to text. Now let's go ahead and execute that step. I'm going to download that file, and hopefully, awesome, I have all of that text that I can now put into my knowledge base. Now to get it into the knowledge base, let's go ahead and hit add. Supabase Vector Store. This is the action that I want to do, and I want to add documents to Vector Store. Now I've got a couple options here. Insert from table name. I want to select the one that's configured for receiving vectorized data. That's that documents table that we just set up. Embedding batch size. This is how big the batches of data that go in are. The next thing that we're going to need is these two fields down here, embedding and document loader. All right, so let's come out and add what's needed. So embedding. We're almost always going to use this option. It's the easiest, OpenAI with model text embedding 3 small. You typically don't have to add any additional options here. This is smart enough, and this is essentially what vectorizes the data and puts it into the knowledge base. Goes through this and organizes it in the correct format for that table. So once we add that OpenAI embeddings model, we need to add a default data loader. Set the format that the data is coming in. Obviously, this is a binary file, so the type of data should be binary. You want to load all input data. We can leave that as automatic. Now for text splitting, you can leave it as simple. I'm going to go ahead and do custom, and this allows me to choose a custom text splitter. We're going to choose recursive. That's good for most use cases, and then you can leave this as is. Now one more thing that I recommend doing, coming into this default data loader and actually adding some metadata here. So this helps you search through your database better in the future. Because maybe you add documents that are FAQ replies, maybe you add sales-related stuff. You're going to be putting it all into the same Supabase table. So the only way to tell your vector store what specific information you're looking for is through that metadata. So you're going to want to give the metadata a title. I like to call it all title. So anytime you load information into the knowledge base, name will be title. And then the value here would be cold email replies. That way I can search specifically for cold email replies in the future. So now I'm ready to put this Google Drive file inside of my knowledge base. I'm just going to go ahead and add an additional trigger manually so that I can actually run this thing and get the data in. So let's go ahead and execute that workflow. It's going to download that file. And as you can see, this embedding agent is putting it into that Supabase Vector Store. It's split it up into 18 items. And let's go back in there and check that it worked. Awesome. So this is how vectorization works. We've got all the content. We've got the metadata, including the title that I just used, which I can search for in the future. And then this is what the vector is. It's this 3-dimensional code that you'll never need to know or understand. just that it helps the system actually find that information later in the future. So now that that's set up and we have some information in our RAG knowledge base, our Supabase Vector Store, let's actually test it. So when you're setting up an AI agent and you want to give it access to that vector store, now you can retrieve documents as tool for agent, description, find similar topics in the knowledge base. So the table name, make sure that it's always selected to documents. Limit, this is how many items it'll pull from that vector knowledge base. N8N also lets you now re-rank results. We'll talk about that in a separate video. It's overkill in most cases. And then here's where you can actually choose the metadata filter. So if I only want to search through cold email replies, I can do that here. So title, let's make sure that I'm choosing the right, specifically the right metadata, cold email replies. We'll come back in. Now it'll search only for cold email replies. And then I need to add an embedding agent, just like we did in the last step. We're just going to add that OpenAI embedding, and that's going to actually be able to go through the vector store. So let's go ahead and execute the chat again. I'm going to open the chat and say, how to reply when someone asks for more information about PR services. And the agent is thinking, it's adding it to the memory, and then hopefully it's checking the vector store. And the final step to get this to work, you can add a system message here. You need to tell it which tools that it has available to it. All right, that's it. You're ready to go. If you thought this was helpful and you found value, please like and subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment if you run into any issues or if you just want to say thank you. And make sure to join my AI Automation Insiders on School. It's completely free and you'll get access to all of my trainings and templates. I'll see you there.